Now we're going to charge you up with some new games coming out this week. Hello, and welcome to Parents Guide to Games. My name is Stefan. Please like, share, and subscribe. Here the game's going to go October 11th, 2022. First game on our list is In Sound Mind. This is coming on Nintendo Switch. The rating is teen. The content descriptions, language, and violence. This is a first-person horror game in which players assume the role of Desmond, a therapist trapped in a flooded town of Milton Haven. As players traverse the town, they must solve puzzles, recover patients' tapes, and battle shadowy monsters that manifest from patients' psyches. Players use pistols, flare guns, and shotguns to shoot shadow creatures that disappear in mist when killed. Combat is highlighted by realistic gunfire and screams of pain. Swear words are heard in the game. And the next game on our list is No More Heroes 3. This comes on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. The rating is mature. The content descriptions, blood and gore, intense violence, strong language, and suggestive themes. This is an action game in which players assume the role of Travis Touchdown, an assassin battling aliens while trying to reach the top of the galactic superhero rankings. From a third-person perspective, players use beam katanas to engage in frantic melee-style combat against alien and human enemies. Combat is highlighted by large bladder split effects, dismemberment, decapitations, and screams of pain. Fighting moves can trigger a zoomed-in perspective and slow-motion effects. Cutscenes depict further instances of intense violence, an alien ripping the arm off of a fallen foe, a character crushing the skull of an enemy, a bound man repeatedly slashed, then decapitated. Camera angles sometimes focus on female characters revealing outfits and autonomy. Some areas allow players to zoom in on female figures with upskirt detailing. During the course of the game, player characters use a masquerade gesture to charge their beam katana. Swear words appear in the dialogue. Now let's take a look at The Eternal Cylinder. This is coming on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. The rating is teen. The content descriptions, fancy violence, mild blood, and partial nudity. This is an adventure game in which players control a herd of alien creatures as they explore and survive the alien planet. From a third-person's perspective, players explore the planet, gather resources and materials, and evolve their bodies to survive hostile environments. Some evolutionary upgrades give players the ability to fire projectiles to attack predators. Damage is indicated by impact sounds and enemies collapsing to the ground and disappearing. One sequence depicts a snake impaled by a spear, accompanied by a brief blood splatter effect. One humanoid creature are depicted with exposed buttocks. Now it's time to take a look at Triangle Strategy. This comes on PC, the rating is teen, the content descriptions, blood, fantasy violence, language, mild suggestive themes, and use of alcohol. This is a role-playing adventure in which players follow the story of a nobleman whose kingdom is on the brink of war. As players progress through the narrative, they can interact with characters to gain allies, make dialogue choices, and engage in tactical turn-based combat. Presented from a 3/4 overhead perspective, players position characters on a grid-based area, using weapon strikes and magics to defeat enemy foes. Battles are accompanied by cries of pain, impact sounds, and screen-shaking effects. Cutscenes depict additional acts of violence and blood. A character with a pool of blood underneath his body, a character killed by an arrow, a character executed off-screen. Some female characters are designed with outfits with moderate amounts of cleavage. The dialogue contains some suggestive innuendos. The game contains some references to wine, ale, and getting tipsy in the dialogue. Drunk characters are depicted slurring his speech, hiccuping, and passing out. Swear words are heard in-game. Next up is Dragon Ball The Breakers. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is teen. The content descriptions, cartoon violence, mild language, mild suggestive themes. This is an action game in which players follow the band of characters trying to save humanity from the Dragon Ball villains. From a third-person's perspective, players search the power keys to activate time machines while battling enemies and rescuing survivors. Players punch, kick, and blast beams of ball energy at enemies in frantic combat. Fighting is highlighted by screams of pain, impact sounds, and explosions. One game mode allows players to assume the role of a villain that searches for survivors to finish them off by blasting them with energy bursts. Survivors sometimes call for help or lay prone on the ground as if incapacitated. The game contains some mild suggestive material, a skill move in which character wiggles her buttocks, characters designed with moderate cleavage, the background billboard depicting a woman in a revealing outfit, dialogue such as, "Give me some of that girly panties," swear words appear in the dialogue. Now let's hit the ice with NHL 23. It's coming on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. The rating is everyone. The content descriptions, mild violence. This is a hockey simulation game in which players can select from teams from NHL rosters to play realistic games of hockey. During the course of each match, players may initiate brief fistfights. The perspective shifts to isolate the two players throwing punches and grabbing at one another until the fight is broken up. Now it's time to get dirty with Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. This is on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is everyone. The content descriptions, comic mischief, and mild cartoon violence. This is a kart racing game based on the characters and themes from Nickelodeon properties, in which players drive around whimsical tracks in contests of speed or arena-type challenges. As characters race, they can pick up and use cartoony weapons that cause opponents to spin out or slow down. Some levels depict giant noses that emit fountains of slime. And the last game with a full description is PGA Tour 2K23. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. The rating is everyone. The content descriptions, mild language. This is a golf simulation game in which players can select and play against PGA pro golfers on real-world courses. Players can improve their skills in several game modes. Swear words are heard in the game. And the rest of the games on today's list are also coming out, but no information was available. Thank you to bensound.com for the music track. Please follow Parents Guide to Games on YouTube at Parents Guide to Games, on Facebook at Parents Guide to Games, on Twitter at ParentsG2G, and email any questions or concerns at parentsg2g@gmail.com. And always, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.